everybody. It's the incomparable NSS. I'm your host. Welcome to Baphomet's Lounge. I humbly apologize. It's been a while since we've been in touch. Several things have happened. So I figured let's do a recap of 2022 for you. First off, you will notice the sort of elephant in the room. I'm not joined by my trusty pit bull, Aspen. And the reason is unfortunately on November 2nd of this year, I had to put her down. We've been together 13 years. She had, it was really tough. I bleed for people that are caregivers for elderly people and whatnot. Being a single dad for a older pit bull with animal aggression that was starting to have anxiety issues and even dementia, for that matter, I was suspecting, was very challenging for me. Running home at lunchtime, running home, working half days at home till late at night. It was very trying. I'd always say to her, I loved her dearly. Boy, she kept the bed warm, but I would say, anytime you're ready to die, let me know. And of course, everyone would be like, oh, don't say that. Don't say that. You don't mean that. No, actually, I do. She was this wonderful organization called Laps of Love came in. Dr. Michelle came in, and we put her right on this chair here, and I sang to her. She gave her a shot to put her to sleep. We fed her peanut butter and all sorts of stuff. It was wonderful. I put her to sleep, and then she snored the best dreams I ever heard. And then Dr. Michelle applied the final thing, and she slowly drifted off into wherever it is we atheists believe animals go to, which is primarily probably nowhere. But it was a beautiful experience, and I sang to her, and it was a wonderful 13-year run, but it was a little constricting for me, very constricting. I have a lot of things that was very challenging for me. One of the things that happened inadvertently is I was drinking a lot because I was home all the time. I was knocking out like 4 beers a night, maybe a bottle of mead a night. It crept on. It would just creep on, and you're stuck home. So right now, I don't really drink that much. I enjoy the odd beer, and wonderful in my, of course, Baphomet's Lounge frosty mug, which is the only way to enjoy your very good beer. But definitely not at the level that I was drinking it before. So she got sent over to Never Never Land, and I won't be getting another dog anytime soon because of the fact that I need to have a life. And again, with her being so animal aggressive and what have you, people would take her in a heartbeat. People would love to take her, but because she might kill your cats or attack your neighbors, you didn't realize that. She was wonderful. She was loving, but she was my special needs kid. Now, maybe if I had a dog that was a little bit more resilient, could pass around, I might think about it. But being a single dad, at this juncture, the answer is no. So, bon voyage, Aspen, dearest. Thank you for allowing me to be your father. About 2 months before Aspen went off to the great gig in the sky, after a 10-year absence, a 10-year estrangement, my daughter reached out to me. My daughter, Ginger, my only daughter. The reason for our estrangement is long and winding, and I'm a very open book. I don't mind talking about it, but I don't think I want to get into that level of detail at this juncture because I'm sort of giving my year in review. But maybe I'll have an episode where she'll sit next to me and we could talk about things and answer questions. What's most important is it's a healthy reunion. She is brilliant. My daughter is absolutely brilliant. She just turned 30 years old. She's a chip off the old block. It's funny, when we were first talking, she's like, hey, I don't want to sound like a jet setter and whatnot, but I kind of will send you an appointment. I put everything in my calendar, and I started laughing my ass off because I actually schedule shits on my Outlook calendar. I mean, I'm not that anal, but you know what I mean. So I laughed my ass off. So it's funny, if we plan anything, we send appointments to each other, and it's enjoyable. She's fantastic. Um, like I said, there were reasons for the estrangement, and I'll take a lot of blame for being an awful father. And there was other reasons, but I'll take my blame. But she has gone out of her way to really mend those fences. She's been unbelievable, really protective of me, very supportive of me. We just absolutely just have so much fun together. The couple times we were together, and Aspen was here, I almost feel like Aspen felt, okay, I can sort of pass the baton off. One of my daughters decided to leave because another one showed up, I guess. And we lollygagged for like 3 hours. Like, I don't think we ever talked that much in our life. We went out to dinner and we just talked. And then she brought along 2 little granddaughters. I have 2 granddaughters. Now, I'm not a kid person. Personally, don't even like the little motherfuckers, okay? I think Jurassic Park would have been so much better if they would have eaten the kids early on. Just not a kid person. But these things are really cool. They are. They're adorable. The eldest, Scarlett, is 9 years old. She, when I first met her, she went out of her way to just sit with me and talk to me and show me everything, tell me what's going on. She really takes after her mother's side of the family. Her great grandmother on that side was a Southern belle, and Scarlett has that sort of Southern elegance, very mother henish. She's very brings it together, and she talks, and looks after situations, and just she's wonderful like that. We're still figuring out our groove. I think that her and I will have, now she's 9, and she kind of sort of like, nips off into a corner with her tablet and kind of does her thing, which is cool. I respect that. And I think in time, I think when she hits her teenage years, I think, where other people think, oh, that might be awful, I think her and I might find a connection on different levels. It's all, I'm figuring this else out one step at a time. Like I told you, I'm not a kid person. So it's a growing thing for me. And I'm trying to be a better father than I was a grandfather, which is, my buddy Wayne said, well, that's pretty damn easy, I guess. Thank you. Well deserved. The younger one, Lilith, who's 5, is 24 karat batshit crazy. She's my side of the family. She's my little Slavic terror, and she is very loving, very in your face. Zip, 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 zip. She's Sonic the Hedgehog on crack. She is just full of energy. She is the littlest thing you ever saw, but she is mighty in spirit. And that one and I, we have a lot of connection together. They both call me Diado. We figured that out, we figured that's the Bulgarian word for grandfather. So they call me Diado. I call my daughter Bubelechka, which was the Bulgarian word for little bug when I called her as a child. And then I called them the Bublechki, the little bugs, the plural, as we try to sort of bring in all of our little ethnicities into the fold. Scarlett is actually, her birthday is like 8 or 9 days after her grandmother's. And Lilith is about 11 days after me. She's a fellow Aries. So as you could tell, we are 2 peas in a pod. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, I'm sure when Lilith gets into her teenage years, her and I will be at each other's throat. That is the one that I think will be barreling down the hills at the speed of light on a snowboard, because that's the way she rolls. And that's the way her grandfather used to roll. He's just a little bit older and wiser now, albeit barely. So yeah, she's got no fear. She's great. Wonderful, loving child. They're both beautiful children. I actually went to a Chuck E. Cheese with them recently, which it was only my second time going there. My first time going there was over 30 years ago when their grandmother and I went because their great grandfather thought it'd be funny to give his daughter her 19th, maybe it was her 20th birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese. Hardy har har har. Um, I was there, just recently, and it was an awful experience. But I soldiered on because I'm trying to be a good diado. And there were these kids all over. And funny story, there was this good looking black dude. He was dressed up in like a sports type thing, very nice outfit that was, uniformly colored, but I guess the hat he had was, I don't know if it was a basketball team or something, but he's looking crisp and sharp, and he's walking his little 1 year old, 1.5 year old, maybe 2 year old son. The kids, they don't know what they're doing. They're so young, and they're just sort of walking and into things. I sort of just freeze because I didn't want to trample the kid. And he's like, "Oh, come on over here, buddy. Look out, buddy." And I kind of look at the guy and I'm like, "They're everywhere." Kind of like, stuck in the middle of a zombie movie. And he kind of laughed. But, it's a growing process that I'm making and trying to learn with. And I tell my daughter, I love it when you and the kids come over and we canoodle on the bean bags and watch, Happy Halloween, Charlie Brown, or the How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or what have you, what is that mystery? Golden Girls mystery, Murder She Wrote, and it's fun, and I love them. And then I tell her I'm so happy when you come visit me, and I'm so happy when you leave me, because they really wear me down. And then I can't wait to see him again. And I go see him, and I get fulfilled by all this craziness, and then they leave, and I'm like, ah. So that's been really cool. And my daughter and I text each other every day, and we have a gas. So those two things have been really wonderful. An awful situation, but turned out to be a good situation that turned into a good situation that turned into a better situation. And I'm enjoying that as I'm growing. On the business front at my job, as you know, I am a software engineer, and it's been I have probably one of the greatest jobs ever. I've got one of the coolest bosses on the planet. He's like a brother to me. The two owners of my company, they are probably two of the most self-effacing guys. They don't, you wouldn't even know. They'll open the door for you or whatever. You wouldn't even know that they're owners of the company. But they, it's I talk to other people, and I, as a consultant, go to other companies, and I get to see some of the different dynamics there. And I like it back in my office. It's not perfect, as like all families have their problems, but it's a great job. It challenges me. I've learned so much about so many different industries: the shipping industry, the petroleum industry, unions, yes, even some stuff in the medical industry, even in handling of pension funds and banking. I've done so much that I've learned. And lately I've been challenged. I've been put in a couple of big projects that have really sapped a lot of my time. And of course, with caring for the dog so I was like shuffling back and forth between all these things. It was quite strenuous to have. I really need to put the time right now into my day job, but it's the right thing to focus on right now because I have this beautiful balance of my personal life and the day job, and or my musical life and the day job. And right now the day job demands of me. I'm in a couple of big projects, one of which, if you understand a software cycle, there usually when you start on a new project, there's this huge ramp up of just building the architecture before you even see something work. So I'm in that area now. We have something that works, but it's like a car that can only go left, right, start, stop. We haven't put in the blinkers, we haven't put in the headlights, we haven't put on the windshield for that matter. And those things are kind of important before you can take it on the road. So it's in that state of, it really is demanding a lot of time and effort from me to get that to at least a drivable state. And then, you always continue enhancing and modifying and what have you. But then once a client sees something that they can touch, feel, play with, and enhance, then it's definitely you've gone over the main hump, like with the roller coaster, you're over the top, and now you're coasting all the way down, and you're creating and enhancing and honing and developing and all that stuff. But in the software cycle, in that life cycle, it's at the beginning phases, there's a lot involved in getting the momentum to start. So that's been consuming a lot of my time. On the musical front, right, like I said earlier, lately I have been in in the work thing, but that's slowly going to balance out to allow me to have some more time for the music. But this year was good. I released 2 singles as NSS. The latter I released as a foreign language single. I challenged myself to sing a song in Spanish. It was brutal. I don't know Spanish. And it took me sometimes up to 3 days to sing 3 lines. It was brutal. But I did it. And I haven't been booed or, Spanish speakers have said to me that, very passable. There was a couple of unique things that, for example, I did Despacito. The pop thing kind of did like what would Santana do with it? And I guess one of the criticisms was in the way I said Despacito, because I as an English speaker, I kind of said Despacito, which the Spanish speakers don't emphasize the T's as much. So it's more like a Despacito, not as strong. So those little things that I was learning, but I really worked hard. It was tough. It's not a native language, but it was fun. And coming from a family that were, having spoken so many different languages as a kid, or hearing so many, coming from a Slavic background, a German background, et cetera, it was fun to really push myself and sort of try to really work on the pronunciation. So I have 2 tracks in the hopper right now that I'm working on. I'm actually sending them off to drums. And so 2023, I'm going to definitely push those out. MCJ Band played a couple of tracks, a couple of shows this year. I have a live bootleg from the last show, which was really cool to release, and really I felt great. I worked hard with that project. It's a challenge to myself to use the technology and the equipment that we're using to be the bassist and the backup singer, and really try to strive for perfection, which is impossible. It's impossible, but it's part of, as you're striving. I finally get it. Like when you hear these pro players and they play a show and you're like, wow, that was amazing. They're like, nah, that was not one of my better shows, blah, blah, blah. I get it when you're really in the zone of performing and you've got a really tight set and you really want to play it. I've played so many shows over my lifetime, and I've played pickup dates with bands, played, with blues bands or Southern rock bands or classic rock bands or whatever. And it was like one of those where you show up and you just play, and you never know who you're playing with, and everything's a jam. And, somebody maybe lean over to you and say, hey, we're doing this in G, or here's we're doing this song, watch me, it's A, B, C, blah, 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 blah. And you kind of do it and watch the things and sort of figure it out and play. And that has its moments, but it's really, really, really cool to work on a show, play that show, and really try and be perfect. it's like playing Pac-Man and knowing the pattern, because if you stray from the pattern, you make mistakes. And I really like that. It's funny. It's like I get enjoyment out of performing that way. It's a total different mindset, and I'm glad that I do it that way. So that's been an interesting little mind change for me, a paradigm shift for me as I'm growing older and maybe maturing as a entertainer, musician, what have you. So, other things, I've been starting this series, of course, and I restarted this year. I have re-engaged my newsletter, and if you want, go to nssworld.com and just put your email address or send me an email at nssworld.com, and I'll add you to my newsletter. I'll spend time, I'll put one out every couple of months, and I spend time writing it and really careful on how I word it. And just sort of, that's been fun. That's really been fun. And finally, I'm not going to start a TikTok thing and, do the dance, some Russian dance or something like that. But who knows with the littles, we may do a little something together, but but YouTube is, everyone's trying to cash in on the TikTok thing. And they have this thing called Shorts where you can release like a 1 minute, 15-second or 1 minute video. And I'm not a fan of that. But I decided, I think I'm just going to give a daily log as to what I listened to that day. So, with this age of, and I don't prescribe to that, things were better in my day and this and that. I really don't. I think the world evolves and things are better and better. But there's stuff in the past that we should always take from. Like I see girls that dress like the pinup girls or the 50s hairstyle or guys wearing it, or there was a zoot suit craze. That's cool, man. That movie Swingers, which there was like people going out and dancing to swing music, music from the 40s and 30s and 40s. I think that's great, because there's something, to not let stuff die. There's a joy in the past. Okay. But we should always keep moving toward the future, but taking elements from the past, it's, take what you like and leave the rest, because not everything's perfect. So, in this day and age of Spotify and listening music and making playlists, I'm also always trying to impart on people's listeners to say, you should try and check out listening to an album as a whole. That's the way I listen to music. So I've got 3,500 plus CDs and counting. And I listen to full albums every day. I listen to albums. I really don't listen to playlists or any of that stuff. And a good album should take you on a journey. So I have been releasing shorts. And if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, so yes, please subscribe, click the link below, and add the alarm bell and comment so that my algorithm shoots me into the ionosphere, and like and subscribe and yada, 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 fucking yada. I hate to beg for that stuff, but you know what? It is necessary. If you do, you should be able to pick up my shorts, which are daily 1 minute videos where I talk about the CDs I listen to that day. And I listen to between 3 to 6 CDs a day, both at the office or in my car. And, I've had people that thank me and they and I'll go back to try to be more regular on these things where I'll talk about bands and music and stuff that I was into, but they thank me. Hey, I never thought of this band. I went and checked it out. And great. I just want to bring some joy to your life because of something I'm digging into, because you bring joy into my life by some videos, or just by knowing you or meeting you or sending me emails or text messages or what have you. So, or leaving me messages, comments and stuff like that. I appreciate that. And I thank you dearly for it. So on this Boxing Day, which if you don't know, or if you were watching this video many, many years later, we had a storm of historic proportions here in Buffalo, New York. So from Friday, the 23rd of Christmas, 23rd of December, we had blowing winds and a city that was shut down. Christmas Eve was shut down. Christmas Day was shut down. Today, the 26th, Boxing Day, is, I think, still shut down. There's still a driving ban as we're digging people out. Thankfully, I have been with heat, power, and food, and alcohol, and I have been actually out yesterday and today. I went out with my snowblower and the whole neighborhood. We've been all helping each other dig. Some people don't have snowblowers. We've been digging them out. I've had pictures hanging out with them where we're drinking beer out in the street and shoveling and letting people out. There's a couple of nurses, young lady, her husband, his wife. I was helping her husband out, dig him out. All he had was a shovel. His wife is a nurse, and then the young lady next door, the girlfriend of the guy next door, we were digging them out. She's a cardiac specialist nurse. So we were digging them out. We were drinking together, and they said, I guess the National Guard would come pick them up if need be, which is great. So I've been stuck in the house, but you know what? There have been people without power. There have been people stuck in their cars. I've been here chilling. I didn't get to see the grandkids. I have a bunch of gifts for them. First Christmas together. I plan on spoiling them, but we'll get together when we get together. Probably it's going to be 32 on Wednesday. It's going to be 52 on Sunday. So this stuff is all going to melt. It'll be gone. But I'm stuck here. But hey, what the hell? That's what life is all about. So if you feel inclined, I still have over 1,000 of these for sale. Pint glasses, koozies, and not cup holders, things to put your drinks on so you don't stain your lovely furniture. Baphomet's Lounge merchandise. If you feel so inclined, feel free to go down in the links below and purchase, all fulfilled by my good friends at Chautauqua Audio Works. And I'd like to take this time to wish you and yours the happiest, merriest of Christmases, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy satanic winter solstice, whatever you decide to believe in. I wish it all to you. Have a great year. And 2023 is really shaping up to be a very good year for me. And I'm very, very excited. 2022 was a great year. And we shall see where it takes us. So I drink this drink to you. Salute. Wishing you all the best from myself and from Baphomet's Lounge. And cheers, everybody. Peace.